Hey, everybody. Today, we're going to talk about brain inflammation, your brain, your patient's brains. Hey, we're even going to talk about my brain. So, some scary stuff right there. Plus, we're going to talk about ALS and concussion. What's the research saying these days? But first, here's that hell yeah bumper music. And we made it back. We're back. Welcome to the podcast today. I'm Dr. Jeff Williams. I'm your host of the Chiropractic Forward podcast. I love having you here. You have stuttered right into episode number 66. Clicking along here, episode after episode, once a week, without fail. We're here to advocate for you for chiropractic, while we also try to make your life easier, right? And part of that is having the right patient education tools in your office, tools that educate based on solid, researched information. We offer you that. It's done. It's already done. Done for you. We're taking pre-orders right now for our brand new evidence-based office brochures available at chiropracticforward.com. They are sharp and snazzy. Just click the store link at the top right of the home page. You'll be off and running. Just shoot me an email at dr.williams@chiropracticforward if something with the webpage is out of sorts or you got a question not working right, whatever. If you're like me, you get tired of answering the same old questions in your office. Well, these brochures make great ways of educating while saving yourself time and breath. They're also great for putting in take-home folders. So, you can use them all kinds of ways. Go check them out, chiropracticforward.com, right up under the store link. Here we go. Let's talk a little bit about the DACO program, which is the Diplomat of the Academy of Chiropractic Orthopedists. I'm going through it. Actually, I'm like 7/8 done with it. I am just still trucking along, hauling a big load of knowledge nuggets in my big 18-wheeler trailer.
Nice work.
So, I don't know where that came from. But what I do know is that recent classes for me have been managing pregnancy-related SI pain, diagnosing thoracic facet joint pain, managing Scheuermann's disease, and diagnosing myalgia paresthetica. I've told you before that I'm no guru. I learn all the time because I clearly don't know it all. I have no problem admitting that I'm not, nor have ever been, particularly knowledgeable on myalgia paresthetica. I'm crapping you negative, though, folks. I'm crapping you negative when I tell you that the very day after I had the drill on myalgia paresthetica, it shows up in my office. I swear. Unbelievable. I'm not above admitting that I've been missing this for all these years. It hurts me a bit to admit, but facts are facts, and if I'm not honest with you, well then, what's the point in all of this anyways? If I can get you pointed in the right direction to get started with the DACO, shoot me an email at dr.williams@chiropracticforward.com. I'm happy to help you. I get nothing out of it. No discounts on hours, no special considerations, no nothing. I'm not even the teacher's pet, man. I just think it's that important. So, on personal happenings, front desk hunt, yeah, it's still a go. Still no rock star. Still not settling. There's your update. I don't want to talk about it. On to item number 1. This one is called Systemic Inflammation During Midlife and Cognitive Change Over 20 Years. The ARIC study. Did y'all hear the word cognitive get hung up in the back of my throat there? All right, here we go. This paper was authored by K.A. Walker. I'm having a hard time today, people. It was authored by K.A. Walker, R.F. Gottesman, D.S. Notman, and a slew of rascally cohorts. I've got it cited in the show notes at chiropracticforward.com. It was published in Neurology in February of 2019.
Hot stuff coming up.
Hot stuff indeed. Brand new information here, people. Here's why they did it. They wanted to examine the association between systemic inflammation measured during midlife and 20-year cognitive decline. You know, speaking of cognitive decline, what was I saying? Why did I even come into this room? Yes, when you're older, you do those things. That's cognitive decline. Anyway, here's how they did it. This is really dumbing the paper down a bit for the purpose of brevity, but within the atherosclerosis risk in communities cohort study, inflammatory biomarkers were measured during middle adulthood. They worked some math magic using the biomarkers, C-reactive protein, and cognition periodically over 20 years. They had 12,336 participants. Now, here's what they found. They found that participants with a midlife inflammation composite score in the top quartile had a 7.8% steeper cognitive decline compared to participants in the lowest quartile. The C-reactive protein in the top was associated with an 11.6% steeper cognitive decline. In cognitive domain-specific analyses, elevated midlife inflammatory markers were most consistently associated with declines in memory. So, to wrap that up, what the authors concluded were, quote, "Our findings highlight what may be an early pathogenic role for systemic inflammation as a driver of cognitive decline in the decades leading up to older adulthood." End quote. Now, the weirdest thing, as soon as I went over this article and started typing up the podcast, I went home that night and opened up the latest version of Chiropractic Economics magazine. It's issue 3, February 22nd of 2019. Anyway, there's an article in there on this exact very thing because, here's why, my mind is creepy like that. Seriously, though, you might do this too, I don't know, but I can think of a patient that I haven't seen in a little while, and it's crazy. That week or the very next, they're going to show up in my office. They're going to be staring me right in the face in live, real life, and it freaks me out every time to know that I have gravitational mind powers like that. I have gravitational mind powers where I can draw people in like a tractor beam.
You've been acting really weird lately.
Well, all I can say, it's the truth. I should run some research on my crazy brain. But evidently, my gravitational mind powers work in the information world as well, because that's the way it happened, my friends. I'm just telling you. Now, there was all kinds of research citations in this article, but I did not look them up because I don't know. So I just got to say I don't have the time. I don't know the quality of the research that was cited in chiropractic economics. So you'll have to go do that homework yourself. But in short, if we want to decrease the kind of inflammation that we see for cognitive decline, the kind that's in the article and in the paper we just talked about, then we need to look at making sure that we have good levels of curcumin, turmeric, as well as good serum levels of vitamin D. And they say the curcumin plays a role in regenerating neurons, creating new brain cells, and Lord knows I need that, and refreshing cells that may have once been considered irretrievable. So all the damage I did in my young adulthood, maybe there's some hope after all, because I was thinking, Mayday, SOS, we're going down. And are you realizing all the information that has come out about vitamin D in the last several years? There's also data refuting the use of any supplement, but knowing there's really no harm in a vitamin D supplement, why wouldn't you consider taking it regularly? Worst case scenario, you lost a very minimal amount on a supplement that did nothing. But best case scenario, you're damn near superhero level, right? So, you know what? I'm taking vitamin D. Continuing on, marching through the podcast, we're going to keep going with the brain stuff here. So here's item number 2 for the week, called Contact Sports as a Risk Factor for Amyotrophic Lateral Sclerosis, a Systematic Review, authored by R. Bletcher, not Belcher, Bletcher. M.A. Elliott, E. Yilmaz, and a plethora of associates. It was published in Global Spine Journal in February 2019 because it's hot off the press.
Hot stuff coming up.
I love the hot stuff. The new stuff makes everybody tickle, doesn't it? And why not? I love information, but there's just something warm and fuzzy about new information. Wouldn't you agree? Now, here's why they did it. They say that environmental factors for ALS have remained largely unknown, and recent evidence suggests that participation in certain types of sporting activities are, not may be, but are definitively. It doesn't say definitively. I added that. But anyways, God, now I'm going to have to repeat the whole damn sentence because I just went on too far. In certain types of sporting activities are associated with increased risk for ALS. They wanted to test the hypothesis that competitive sports at the highest level that involve repetitive concussive head and cervical spine trauma result in an increased risk of ALS. Now, here's how they did it. They searched electronic databases and reference lists of key articles from inception to November 22nd of 2017. They used 16 studies that fit the criteria, and the sports they looked at were, of course, American football, basketball, cycling, triathlon, and skating. I'm wondering where the hockey or rugby players are in the mix, because you know they get concussions like crazy. So now what they found, I hate to say it, I don't want to admit it, but here's what they found. Quote, our review suggests that increased susceptibility to ALS is significantly and independently associated with 2 factors: professional sports and sports prone to repetitive concussive head and cervical spine trauma. They also say their combination resulted in an additive effect, further increasing this association to ALS. So while we love our sports and we hate seeing what I would call the sissification of the world in general, we also don't want people to knowingly and purposefully put themselves in danger like this. And certainly not our children, right, that are out there playing sports. We have to pay attention to this stuff. I played padded tackle football from 3rd grade up into college, but I only had my bell rung one time. But I'm thinking I'm the exception, not the rule. And when they say bell rung, if you've ever had your bell rung, you know exactly why it's called that, because that is exactly what it is. Ding. But I was always taller and bigger than most of the others on the football field, so maybe that's why I escaped relatively unharmed. Well, at least I think I escaped. I'm 46 now. I still have time to lose my mind, I suppose. I think it's happening right now. Anyways, all of this stuff is food for thought. Evidence-based chiropractors don't just deal with the musculoskeletal frame, neuromusculoskeletal, whatever. Our patients encompass the entire gambit of what could be wrong. And so this is all just a part of making you better day to day. And the message, as it always is that I want you to know with absolute certainty when chiropractic is at its best, you can't beat the risk versus reward, because spinal pain is primarily movement-related pain and typically responds better to movement-related treatment rather than chemical treatments like pills and shots. And when compared to the traditional medical model, research and clinical experience show that many patients get good or excellent results through chiropractic for headaches, neck pain, back pain, and joint pain, just to name a few. Chiropractic care is safe, cost-effective, it decreases the instances of surgery and disability. And chiropractors normally can do this through conservative, non-surgical means with minimal time requirements on the part of the patient, and that's a win-win. And if the patient develops a preventative mindset going forward from initial recovery, chiropractors can usually keep it that way while raising the general overall level of health of the patient. The key point, though, is patients should have the guarantee of having the best treatment offering the least harm. And that's chiropractic, folks. Now, send us an email at dr.williams@chiropractic4.com and let us know what you think of the show, or tell us your suggestions for future episodes. Feedback and constructive criticism, you know what? It's a blessing. So are subscribes. We love excellent reviews on iTunes or other podcast services, obviously. Y'all know how this works by now. If you like something, you have to interact with it. You have to review it. You got to support it. So we appreciate your support. Help us get to the top of the podcast in our industry, and that's how we get the message out. Can't wait to connect with you again next week from the Chiropractic Forward Podcast Flight Deck. This is Dr. Jeff Williams saying upward, onward, and forward. Be sure to find me on social media sites such as Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. While you're at it, give us a thumbs up on YouTube. That's super simple. Be sure and visit chiropractic4.com. Give our podcast a listen. Lots of wonderful, wonderful information there. And as always, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.